Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and today's video is actually going to be a very interesting topic. I love talking about stocks that I think are going to be worth investing in, and especially like some of my favorite stocks right now. So today's video, as you already know, is going to be about the best stock, my number one stock to invest in during a stock market crash. And I certainly believe that a stock market crash will happen once again. With today's recent stock market day on April 1st, we did get sort of a stock market crash already. It's down 4.10%, and my portfolio was down 4.65% today, as you can see. So during a situation like this, I personally believe that the stock market's going to go down even more, and I've already bought at certain low points, and I don't want to buy at a point like this right now because I believe it will go down even more in the future. But in the case that the stock market declines much more in the future and it crashes even harder to where we can get stocks at a great deal on sale, and keep in mind that's what you should look at these crashes like. Don't look at them negatively. Look at them as an opportunity that many people didn't have until it actually occurs. Sometimes you don't get a huge crash for 5 to 10 years. And although it will hurt your stock portfolio temporarily, it's a great opportunity for long-term investing to where you can invest in a stock at a low point and get those rebound gains and also get those future gains after the rebound gains, and you'll end up gaining more than if you had invested in the stock before the dip and then waited until it recovered and past that. And one super important thing to realize is when you buy a stock at the dip, when you buy it near the bottom, one of the main reasons that people recommend against timing the market, which is trying to sell before the drop and also trying to time the market to where you buy at the lowest point, one of the main reasons that people recommend against that is because it's hard to find that perfect bottom spot. It's hard to find that perfect low point, which is why a lot of people recommend dollar cost averaging, which is simply buying on the way down. That way you don't miss out by trying to time the market at the perfect point. I know I went on a tangent there, but trust me, all of this connects together. When you buy at a low point, when you buy the dip, usually when the stock market finally starts to recover from a crash, a lot of the gains happen after the dip, like significant gains. We're talking like 10% gains potentially in one day. And we've already seen this phenomenon occur recently to where you see this low point right here. It finally started to recover on that March 24th day, and I'm pretty sure that went up like 10% across some of the stocks that I own. So that was like a 10% increase in one day. So one of the reasons that you gain from buying at the dip is not only do you get the stock on sale, but you're also buying that stock at a point near the rebound. And when the rebound does occur, it's usually a lot higher of percentage in gains than a normal positive day. So the reason people recommend against timing the market is because one, you have to time the market 2 times. That is, timing it before it drops and timing it when it's at its bottom before the rebound. And then 2, if you don't time the bottom correctly and say instead of buying back in on that first rebound day, you buy on the second rebound day, it's likely that that first rebound day could have been something like 10% or so, and you've already missed out on a 10% gain that you could have had if you simply just bought the dip and stayed the course for the long term. But anyways, all of this relates back, it all plays together in what I'm talking about today, which is my favorite stock to buy during a stock market crash. So that just explained why it's beneficial to buy the dip and how you can actually look at buying the dip as a good thing and looking at a red stock market day as a good thing as well. So next time you look at the stock market, I think it's a fantastic idea to simply look at it as if it's a red day, then you're potentially getting opportunities to gain more in the future by buying the dip. And if it's a green day, then your portfolio is growing. So it seems like it's positive either way if you take on that perspective. And before I start discussing what I believe is the best stock to buy during a stock market crash, I just want to say that this video is not any form of financial advice. It is simply me sharing my opinions on my favorite stock, what I believe about the stock market and its future, my predictions, my plays, and all of those things, and etc. So keep in mind that this is not financial advice and that you should do your own research and make your own decisions regarding the stock market. And that's also one of the only ways that you can truly have faith in a stock holding in your portfolio, if it's a stock that you believe in, a stock that you've researched, and not just something that you bought because someone else said it was a good idea. But my number one stock to buy during a recession is... Alright, I'm just kidding with you guys. It's April Fool's Day. You know I had to do it. But my number one stock is Microsoft. And if you look at even the past year, if you compare it to something like VOO, VOO, if you look at within the past year, at its low point, VOO was only up 11%, and VOO basically mirrors the index. So it's basically an average of all of the percentages of some of the top stocks in the stock market. So if you look at that recent low point, over the past 5 years, VOO was only up 11%, and VOO is generally seen as a safe stock because you gain about 10% every year, and then you also get dividends. But with a situation like this during a stock market crash, when it crashes, it seems like it crashes very hard compared to other stocks like Microsoft and Apple. But I brought that up because I wanted to compare it to Microsoft. If you look at Microsoft over the past 5 years, and even in the past year, just within the past year, Microsoft is still not negative. It's still up 28%. And if you look at the lowest point, it was still up 13.85%. So compared to VOO, if you look at the past year, even like at this low point, it was negative 21.87%. And compared to Microsoft, if you look at the past year, it's still positive, up 13.85%. And then over 5 years, it's still up 272%. Just sit there and think about that for a second. Look at this consistent growth. This isn't like some of these other stocks, and I'll admit I still love Apple, but if you look at Apple within the past year, a lot of that growth has just came from, the past year that we've had. It's a significant spike upwards, and then it's a little inconsistent right in here, some gradual growth here. But if you look at Microsoft, it is absolutely consistent. Like, it's not like one big spike. We've had a little bit of a spike within the past year here as well, but that is total consistency all the way up. Then you had the 2018 crash, and then it's all the way up again, more consistent, and then a spike. But the important thing to consider here is not only is Microsoft an excellent growth stock, even factoring in the lowest point on March 20th, it was still up 234% in the past 5 years. It's a very consistent stock. It's an excellent growth stock. It's resilient during stock market crashes. I will say, as you can see from my portfolio today, it has been more resilient and resistant to the recent April 1st stock market crash compared to VOO, compared to Apple, compared to Tesla. So looking at the stock market in total and a lot of the other stocks recently, Microsoft has just been so resilient compared to the other stocks out there, and it's not going down as much as the other stocks are, and it's even going down less than some of the index stocks like VOO. So not only do you get consistency, you get resiliency, you get tons of growth. As you can see here, it has an excellent business model, and it proves it in the statistics and in the graphs of the stock shares. But on top of that, you also get a dividend. So as you all can see, I recently received my dividend, and I do have a history of buying a lot of Microsoft recently on the crash. I bought a lot of them at 135 and 133, but I got a dividend on March 12th for only holding 20 shares. That's back when I owned a smaller amount of shares, and I got 51 cents per share. But if you really think about that, if you own a lot of shares of Microsoft, you get something like this every quarter. And for only owning 20 shares, I got $10. So if you can imagine if I have like 100 shares, and then you times that by 4 to equal what you get every year in total for dividends with Microsoft, that's a pretty significant amount. That's like $2.04 per share per year. And a lot of the times in good market conditions, companies like Microsoft may increase their dividends. So you may end up getting 54 cents per share in the future sometime or something like that per quarter. So many of these reasons are why Microsoft is just my go-to stock lately. I have not bought another stock in at least a month and a half, 2 months, because I've been buying all of it. I've been spending all of my money on Microsoft because I just truly believe in this company. It has an excellent business model. They're not going anywhere in the future, in my opinion. They're going to just remain one of the top dogs because of their excellent business model. I'm pretty sure all of the Microsoft shareholders are very happy with how it's handling the situation right now and its growth over the past 5 years. It's just something you can't complain about. And I actually bought Microsoft when it was at a higher price. I owned one share ever since December when I bought it way back then. And then I think I bought like $5,000 in Microsoft in like February or something like that. So it was still a pretty high price. But as you can see, because of its resiliency, I'm still only down 3.81% in total, which is something I'm really not going to complain about. I'm very happy with that compared to how far down I am with some of the other stocks like VOO. As you can see, I'm down 21%, which is $7,400. So overall, Microsoft is handling this situation extremely well, and I think it's a fantastic stock to invest in. And that is my personal opinion. I think it is really just my #1 stock out there, especially to buy during a crash, although it's not going to be on sale as much as the other stocks just because it's so resilient. I mean, look at this rebound that we recently had within the past month. That was a pretty solid rebound. Like when it rebounded a lot. So it's resilient, the rebound is good on it, and it has excellent growth, dividends. What really more could you ask for with this stock? It has an excellent business model. It's probably not going anywhere anytime soon, even in the next 40 years or so. Microsoft is also something that I will probably be putting some of my Roth IRA funds into, which is usually something that you want to be super safe with and invested in like an index or something. But I believe in Microsoft so much long term that I'm probably going to put some money in my Roth IRA invested into Microsoft just because that growth will be absolutely insane tax-free later on when I get to retire with that. But anyways, I just wanted to share my thoughts and opinions on this stock with y'all just because I think it is just such an excellent choice personally. Like I always say though, this is just my personal opinion. It's not to be considered financial advice, but I do believe it is important to research stocks like these because I think it's an excellent option out there for people that just want consistency. And for it to grow as much as it does, it seems to be a relatively safe stock out there. It's not really volatile if you look at the stock charts. So I certainly think that it's something that should be considered. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to smash that like button, and I'll do more videos like these in the future, such as maybe my second pick, my top 5 stocks, and things aside from Microsoft that I also believe is worth investing in. And also, if you would like to begin investing, feel free to take advantage of my referral links down in the description and the top of the comment section below. If you sign up with my referral links, we'll both get some free stocks, which is really cool. I love to see what random stocks I get sometimes. I really appreciate you all that have done that so far, but even if you don't use my link, I do believe it is important to start investing, especially during a stock market crash. It's just such an excellent opportunity to start at a fantastic time. And if you start during a low point, you're also less likely to end up like me, which is a person that started like mid-December. And as you can see, since I started during the bull market, about towards the end of the bull market's life cycle, I'm in the negative right now, but I'm not worried whatsoever. It's a long-term thing for me, and I have plenty of years for this to recover, and I'm not going to need the funds anytime soon in the future, hopefully. So I do have time for this to recover and grow in the future. But if you invest in a low point like this, you're less likely to be someone like me that invested before the crash and has to wait much longer for the funds to recover. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to smash the like button, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. And happy April Fool's Day, by the way.